Welcome. In today's discussion, I want to talk briefly about the importance of collaboration. In all the years that I have been selling software and implementing software and having conversations with customers time and time again, they're looking for ways to more effectively communicate with their general contractors or their subcontractors. The ownership of the projects is becoming more complex where we're dealing with joint ventures and owners, and there's just a lot of people that are involved. The importance for collaboration has really become one of the key areas for innovation in construction technology. Some of the big reasons that we want to have effective collaboration and communication are obviously to be able to share that knowledge and that information. But more than that is probably finding out problems that are going to happen or that are happening as quickly as possible so that we can get solutions and resolutions to those problems. Having effective communication and collaboration on the project also helps us mitigate that risk by being able to track and trace all of the communications that we're having, the RFIs that we're sending out, the submittals that we're sending and receiving, and the revisions of those submittals and drawings and delivering documents and emails and tracking all of that communication into one spot really helps us control the risk and hold those parties accountable that are responsible for the deficiencies that we're having on our projects. But the first thing I want to do is basically show you how the 2020 Construction Cloud handles communication and collaboration. And I really want us kind of focus on four main areas. The first of which is email and calendar. So I've logged into the 2020 Construction Cloud here. And you can see that as I'm logged into the discussion area, and this is my inbox. So you can see, congratulations, my inbox is empty. If you look up here in the top right, I'm logged in as an administrator, and there's some little buttons up here as well, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. But the first thing I want to point out is that we can send and we can receive email through the 2020 Construction Cloud. So really easily to send an email, we're going to click the email button, and I'm going to select recipients. I can either select people right out of my contacts database, or I can just type in an email address. I'm actually going to select Brant Wadsworth. This is a test and test. And you can notice that in the body here, we can use an email template. We can create different templates to send out. We can attach files directly here. And we also have the ability to format and bold, underline, and basically do all the graphical changes, cosmetic changes that we need to these emails. I'm going to send it out as it is here. Just let it do its thing. And that email is off. So now I'm going to go to my inbox, and I just received the email. So this gives you an idea of what that simple email looks like. So I received this from administrator. I wrote test in there, and there's some buttons in here that allow me to view and follow the discussion that we're having, and that would actually log me into the 2020 Construction Cloud. And you'll see how these buttons and these links play a more important role as we go along here. But right from this email now, I can go ahead and respond to this email. You'll spell better than I do. Spelling's never been my strength, but I'm going to respond here. Okay, and then you can see that now this response has actually shown up right here into my inbox. So now I have one item in my inbox. We can see that highlighted here, one item. There's some neat things that we can do with it here though. We can mark it as red with the checkbox right here, or we could star this and mark it as something that we need to do. And if we mark it as starred, then when we click on our starred filter here, we'll be able to see all of those items that are starred. Also at the top, we have the ability to search through all of our emails. So I could type respond, and it will search through. I'll do that a little slower. So we can search for content that has the word respond, subject, the author, recipients, related models, parent messages. So there's a lot of great ways to search through the details through our inbox right here. And again, this is not Outlook. It is using whatever type of email that you're currently using in your system, and we set that up behind the scenes, but that email then is being pulled and delivered from the 2020 Construction Cloud. So that's the first thing that I would like to talk about. Next is integrating that email into some of the other aspects of the system. For example, the calendar. So if I click on the calendaring tool here, you can see that inside of this demonstration system, I would see a listing of, if I have access, of course, to see the different calendars that are involved in this business. And I'm filtering all of the events by job, but I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm just going to create a new job here real quick, or a new meeting. And this is going to create a project meeting. We'll just say this is a test project or a test meeting. And then I can specify the attendees that I want to participate. We're going to invite Brant again. We could specify the meeting or the job. If this is a meeting, a daily report, the different type of information. If this were a daily report, we could fill out all the details for this daily report. But this is just going to be a basic meeting here. Again, we have the ability to put in the notes, put in some notes. And on the options, we can specify where this is a recurring meeting and how it's going to show up on our calendar. I'm going to make this an all-day meeting. And hit save. It's going to take that, and it's also going to generate that email, and it's going to send me an email invitation. And I'll show you what that looks like here. So there is the email invitation that I received. Administrator has invited me for a test meeting of 2020 construction. I'm the only attendee for Tuesday, August 23rd, and I can accept or decline it right here. And that will throw it onto my personal calendar. You can see we have an invitation.ics file that will put it on your local calendar. So very easy to go through and create different meetings or schedule things and invite other people, and it shows up on their calendars, and we can actually click to see everybody's calendar as well and see how that works out. But let's jump back over here to the discussion part of the 2020 Construction Cloud and talk about some of the other aspects. And the next thing I want to spend a little bit of time on is the messaging and the discussion aspect. So all of the users inside of our company that will have access to the 2020 Construction Cloud, they will be logged into that system because it's one solution where they can do everything related to for the project or for accounting or for HR or for all aspects of the business. And you'll notice down here that I have the ability to direct message or to chat instantly with those people that are logged on. I can see Brant Wadsworth right here. He's labeled yellow, meaning that he's idle. So I could just chat with him. Hey, do you have a second? And because I'm logged in as Brant on the other side, Brant also gets that message from the administrator and sure, what's up? So we can have a quick conversation and chat back and forth to get questions answered. You'll notice down here when we're typing in the things that our messages, we can put in smiley faces and also attachments into these messages. But now we're actually keeping our collaboration and our communication all into a central solution. Now we do have the ability to generate what we call channels. So we could have an accounting department or an HR department. If I were to click on the accounting department, it's going to send a message to everybody inside of the accounting department. Or, maybe I want to create a private channel in this. Now I have the ability in my new channel here to invite users to participate in this. So, I want to invite Dwayne Johnson and Jordana Brewster, Jennifer Lopez. Perfect. Let's invite those. So now all of those individuals were now invited to be part of that. So when I send messages down here to that new channel, Dwayne Johnson, Jennifer Lopez, and Jordana Brewster will all receive those messages, and we can communicate together as a team and effectively have some collaboration and communication that way. So that makes it very easy for us to, chat back and forth, to have discussions about specific items, and to also, again, we're keeping track of all of that communication inside of the system here. The next thing I want to bring up is what we call subscriptions. So I'm going to actually go in and look at a job here. I'm going to go into Project Central and click on a project and see a listing of our projects. We'll just look at this, the Charlie Hotel here. And if we look down at the bottom, we have what we call chatter, or it's the ability to subscribe to objects in the system. So right down here at the bottom, we have all of the details or the notes, that everything that has happened to this particular project. We can see that the administrator created it on 9/20 on this specific date. But right above that, we also have the ability to keep track of additional notes for this project. Now, an important thing to point out is that this section right here, this chatter, is not only available for project. If I were to click on an RFI, and we'll look at these RFIs here and show how this is effective in a minute, but now you can see the RFIs and all of the different objects inside of the system, whether it's a project, specifications, drawings, submittals, daily reports, whatever. They all have the ability to subscribe people to that so that they can receive notifications and alerts more effectively. I'll jump back here to that project and we'll look at the chatter here again. So down at the bottom, we can see that there are no followers. So I can click the list and I can add followers. And here I may want to add people like the owner of the project or any subcontractors, anybody that I would like them to receive notifications. So I'm going to add Brant in again here so that I can show you. He's going to receive an email. It's because we have send an email. He'll receive an email letting him know that he's been invited to view this job and give him access to this job. But if I click down here on this follower now and I can see Brant, there's also a little edit. So here I can decide what I want Brant to be able to see. The discussions that we're having on this project or notes are the internal notes. So as I'm creating messages here, if I were just to write a quick little message, about this job, this is going to send an email to all of the followers. I can attach and send this and it will generate an email and store this message and the responses with this project. I could opt to only put an internal note, and that will not be sent out by email, but will only be stored for internal purposes. And I'm going to log. So again, another really great way to keep the stakeholders, the project stakeholders, all on the same page. Any changes, any dates that are changing, or anything that we need to notify those important project stakeholders of, we can simply type it here and they'll receive notification by email. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of how this relates to the document management and the form collaboration. So I'm going to jump back over to that project management and we'll take a look at an RFI. Instead of creating one, we'll just look at one that's already been created. And we've talked about this in previous demonstrations, but you can see that it's a form and it's just got all the necessary information for an RFI and the ability to upload attachments. We can create a change request out of this RFI if required. You can see down here that this RFI, we have some default distribution group that's populated, and this is coming off of the job. And down below, again, we have the chatter. So when this RFI was created, any responses, any messages, and all of the followers. This one's got 6 followers. Alejandro Guerra, Tommy Callahan, and some others. And again, we can control what access what they can and they can't see here. But I'm going to go ahead and send this email out. And again, it's using that same email form that we're familiar with. It's going to actually pull in our RFI template here. So you can see that we've created a pre-built template. It's going to create this RFI, pull in all the information, as well as any attachments that we have on this RFI, and it's going to automatically send them to all the recipients that we have on that RFI. So I'm going to actually get rid of these because they're fake email addresses. And I'll put in Brent because he's not a fake email address, and I'll hit send. Okay, I've received that RFI in my inbox, so I'm going to double click it and I'll drag it over to show you what it looks like. We have an RFI. There's the job and RFI number. Here's the new RFI. Here's the information requested. Now if I click, again, here's the attachment down here at the bottom. So a couple of things. I can easily just respond to this RFI. I'm just going to get rid of everything else here. Oof, spelling's atrocious. But I'm going to respond to this RFI here. Or we'll just let that do its thing here while we're talking about something else. Or I could actually go ahead and I could click on this button right here, and it would open up 2020 Construction Cloud to where the the architect or the engineer or any stakeholder that received that and had access to the system could go in and they could log their messages and their collaboration directly on the system. So a great way of keeping track of all of the communication and the collaboration that's happening on all of the different objects in the system, be it a contract, a subcontract, a purchase order, RFI, invoices, routing them for approval, whatever it is. Now all of that information is stored here inside of the system. There's actually a whole lot more that the system can do, but I hope that you've been able to see how easy it is to use and the importance of communicating and keeping all that information into one spot. Please feel free to reach out to us. Reach out to us on our website at 2020hindsight.com. Just contact us. We have our phone number here, right up here at the top, or register for a free trial. Let us know how we can help. We're here to help you, and look forward to having you join us on our next little demonstration. Thanks.